Hello, and welcome to Hearts of Iron 4 Guide on concentrated versus dispersed industry. This is the longest video I think I've made. It took the most time to research, so if you could please leave a like, it would be helpful. So, the TLDR version of this is basically go down, take this line all the way down, get flexible. It's way better than Streamlined, and I'm going to piss half my audience off with this. Dispersed industry is better if you're switching. It's better 90% of the time if you're switching out every 2 years. Okay, if that's all you needed, have a nice day. Otherwise, I'm going to show you how the test was conducted, and then we're going to go over every single number in depth. So you people that like concentrated industry, stick around. That there is a use for it. All right, see you in a minute. Okay, so this is how all of the tests are conducted, right? I'm going to show you that we don't have any modifiers that are boosting our production efficiency or retention rate or anything of that kind. We don't have any of those modifiers. We're on partial mobilization. We're on free trade. We have 100% stability. It's all the same, okay? Now we're going to turn on instant construction. This is the same for all the tests. We're going to run all the way down the concentrated line. And then for this example, we're going to do the flexible line. Okay, we're going to turn it off. We're going to turn on instant construction. Okay, now that it's on, we're going to wait an hour, come back to the construction screen. We're going to build the selected states up. Right, we're going to turn off instant construction. Okay, we're gonna let an hour pass, right? We're going to put all of the equipment in the right order. So infantry 1, the tank. The tank has diesel engine, welded armor, torsion bar, improved medium howitzer, a 3-man turret, a special improved radio, sloped armor, armored skirts, wet ammo stowage. Then we put anti-tank 1, and we put fighter 1. Put all of these to 5, so we have 25 factories on each. We go to the trade, we get the trade set up. We wait until hour 16. Now we're all good. We continuously go for a year, 2 years, however long the test is needed to be conducted for. And then all we do if we need to test something else or reset a test, is we go back. Right? We go back to the same save. And then we just choose a different line and whatever else we need to do. Okay, so now they're going to talk about streamlined versus flexible line. Okay, so again, what we're testing here is between flexible line and streamlined line. So streamlined line, grab a mouthful, gives you a production efficiency growth. Basically, it technically makes your production efficiency grow a little bit faster. Flexible line gives you production efficiency retention plus 20%. That's the main difference. And we're going to test what each one does in the outcome. So when I'm talking about production efficiency cap and production efficiency and the 100.10% that I'm about to talk about, this is what I'm talking about. We have reached our production efficiency, has reached the production efficiency cap, which is 100.10%. Okay, now onto the part. Okay, so we see a whole bunch of numbers on our screen. We're going to break it down. At the top is going to be dispersed industry. On the left side is going to be flexible line. And on the right side is going to be the streamline line, okay? The dates, so March 16th, 1937 is the date that the dispersed industry flexible line reached 100.1%, so maximum efficiency. February 4th, 1937 is the date that the streamline line reached 100.110% efficiency, so maximum efficiency. Now, if we compare the numbers, we are comparing the numbers of both of them on March 16th, 1937. So the streamlined line gets an extra month and a few days to catch up, right? Because comparing the exact same date. So what we can see here is that the numbers are relatively similar, right? There's only a 3.3% increase in production, and that number is not going to go anywhere anymore because you have completely got to the efficiency point. So the number will never increase past this point. So you've only made 3.3% more equipment for everything, from infantry to tanks to anti-tank and the fighters, right? But what we've lost is the 20% retention. And we can also see that it took 440 days for the dispersed industry flexible line to come online at 100.10%. So 1 year, 2 months, 15 days. We can see that the Streamlined line took 400 days. So 1 year, 1 month, 3 days. Notice here that there's a 40-day difference only. Okay, that is it. Only 40 days. That is it. So the flexible line is way better than the Streamlined line. It only gives you 0.3%, so it only gives you 3%, so 3.3%. And that number will never increase. It's not like concentrated industry will keep going up. That's it. It's done. So flexible line is looking real good right now. So let's go check on concentrated. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at concentrated. So on the left is going to be the concentrated industry, the flexible line, and then on the right is going to be the Streamlined line for concentrated industry. So if we look, we can see that the flexible line finished getting to its efficiency cap of 100.10%, okay, on May 10th, 1937. We can see that the Streamlined line got to its maximum efficiency of 100.10 on March 26, 1937. And if we look at the numbers, we can see a little bit of a difference. It's looking a little better, right? Now it's 4.2% in favor of Streamlined line for the equipment, right? But remember, we have to take into account that that will never increase. It's not going to grow ever. So now that they're both at their cap, they're going to stay that way. So you've only made 4.2% more equipment, but you gave up 20% retention, which is very bad, right? So if we look, it gets a little bit worse, right? If we look, it took 495 days for concentrated industry flexible line to get to 100.10% efficiency, right? Its production efficiency is capped. So that's 1 year, 4 months, 9 days. If we look at the Streamlined line for concentrated industry, it took 450 days. So 1 year, 2 months, 25 days to get to its efficiency cap. That's a 45-day difference, okay? That is 1 month and 15 days more that you produced a little bit more equipment. But now you've completely lost the 20% retention rate. And you cannot increase your production anymore because it's capped and you've reached that cap. So it doesn't look, this is not good. Let's put it that way. Okay, so what does this mean? Basically, you need to take flexible line. It's just better in every single scenario. It's 1943 tech, and the retention rate of 20% is way better than the plus 10% efficiency growth, which literally means nothing. Nothing. As we see from the data, if we start the lines at the same time, it only gives you a 40-day difference on dispersed, and it gives you a 45-day difference on concentrated of how much more equipment you get before you reach your cap. So only 45 days, and it's not worth it. 3.3% and 4.2%. Those aren't big numbers. They're not big numbers at all. And remember, they don't grow ever. So in summary, take flexible line every single time in a game, and it's just better than Streamlined line in every single situation. Okay, so now we're gonna go to dispersed versus concentrated industry. This ought to be fun. Okay, so now that we know that flexible line is the best, all the numbers here are gonna be with flexible line. So now we're gonna compare dispersed industry with concentrated. Here we go. Okay, the first set of numbers are from year 1. So this is from January 1st, 1936 to January 1st, 1937. Okay? We can see that the production numbers are 2.9% in favor of dispersed industry. That's what we expected, right? Concentrated is supposed to ramp up over time, right? So if we now look at year 2, we can see something interesting. We can see that it is 5.4%, right? It is 5.4% more equipment is produced in the concentrated line, okay? And that equals a 2.5% increase, right? So that's what the difference is. per year, if that makes sense. Okay, so now if we look at year 3, we can see it again. It's going up. So year 3, it goes up to 7.9% more equipment produced in the concentrated way. We expected this, right? But it's only by 2.5% increase, right? From 5.4 to 7.9 is a 2.5% increase. So it seems that it's only going up by 2.5%. Now, how good is that? Look, it's not. If you keep on the same line, it is more equipment, right? But you have to stay on the line for 3 years to get this, to achieve this, which, when you think about it, having this produce the same equipment for 3 years is from 1936 to 1939. Or if you want to do something crazy, from 1939 to 1942, you're producing the exact same equipment to only get 7.9% more equipment on concentrated, okay? So now we're going to look at what happens when you switch, because we've determined that concentrated is better if you are going for a multi-year strategy. So now we're going to look at the switch. Okay, so the switch. What do we mean by that? Well, what we mean by that is this. We're going to get weapons 2, anti-tank 2, and we're going to get fighter 2s, okay? What we're doing, and then we're going to do a design change on this tank, right? We're going to give it 5 engine and 10 armor, okay? It's going to rename to Elite. So what we're doing here is we're changing out the equipment completely, okay? So this is weapons 2, and then this is anti-tank, this is fighter, and then we're switching this, because it's not a new design, it's just a variant of its own self to see how much equipment you can produce if you keep the same thing but switch it around. And for this example, we have Dispersed industry, right? We're keeping the flexible line because it's the best. Then we just get more chromium. And then let the hour pass. And now we're good. So now I'll show you the concentrated version of this. Okay, so the concentrated version. All we're doing here, exact same thing. We are Thompson, anti-tank, fighter, go back to the production screen, and we're going to switch it out, and switch it out, switch it out, then we're going to make the better tank right here, put it into production, grab the tungsten, speed a little bit, and then make sure it's all good, and then, yeah, so this is the concentrated side of it. So as you can see, all the way down here, flexible and concentrated. So this is how the next test has been done with dispersed and concentrated, so that you understand that I am not messing around with the numbers. Okay, now on to the results. Okay, so now we can see from the, it's on screen, the dispersed versus the concentrated, right? When we switch from 1938 to 1939. So we can see that dispersed, obviously, it has 12.3% more infantry equipment too than the concentrated one. We expected that. What's interesting here is that there is 11.2% more medium tanks, the tanks that were converted, like the with the armor and the engine, not a new model, right? Just a little bit of conversion. And that one has 11.2%. But the anti-tank 2, again, 12.3% more on the dispersed side. And for the fighter 2s, we can see that it is also 12.3% more on the dispersed side. Now, if we look at year 2, we can see some numbers changing, right? So if we look at it, we can see that for 1 year and 11 months, dispersed industry straight has more equipment. But as soon as you hit the 2-year mark, you see that 0.8%, there's 0.8% more infantry 2. So there's 0.8% more infantry 2 on concentrated. There's 11.6% more medium tanks, right? But that's only a 0.4% increase from last year. And again, we can see a 0.8 increase on the concentrated side for the anti-tank and the fighter 2s. So what does this tell us? Basically, up to year 2, if you switch out equipment, the dispersed is going to be better. and then concentrated will start to overtake it eventually after 2.5 years and 3 years. But up till 2 years, dispersed is better. So now we're going to go into the advantages, disadvantages of concentrated industry and dispersed industry and which scenarios to use them in. Okay, so dispersed industry. The advantages of dispersed industry, okay? So we get this 20% conversion speed bonus is only for the first one. But you can see that we get minus 50 factory bombing vulnerability. We're going to get plus 25 base efficiency. And we're going to get production efficiency retention plus 50. And then everything else is the same. Then we go the flexible line right here, so we get even more retention. And the advantages here is basically if we need to swap equipment over, right, to anything else from an original factory, you can see that it's only going to drop down to 79.08%. This is a massive difference compared to concentrated. If we need to add a whole bunch of factories to something, right, let's say we need to add 25 factories to anti-tank guns, you can see that it goes to 67.57% efficiency, which again is a lot better than concentrated. And the biggest factor here is if you need to start a line for whatever reason, you have 35.03% efficiency, which is again way better than concentrated. Now, what are the disadvantages? The disadvantages for this are you lose 25% factory output. That is it. Now we're going to look at concentrated. Okay, so now looking at concentrated, what are the advantages? The advantages, you have plus 25% factory output. Your dockyard output is the exact same. Then we have the flexible line retention, okay? So we have 25% more output, which means we are technically producing more equipment than we would on dispersed. However, now the disadvantages. The disadvantages. If we need to swap over equipment, you can see that this drops to 44.04%, which is significantly worse than dispersed industry, okay? Let's say we need to add 25 guns, 25 more factories to the anti-tank gun. Let's do it. You can see that our production efficiency is, again, a lot worse than on dispersed industry. And the last thing is if we need to start a new line, it's going to start at 10% efficiency, which is very bad. These are all the disadvantages. Now we're going to do a wrap-up. Okay, so to recap, we're just going to basically do a wrap-up, all right? Basically, dispersed industry is still the king, just like everybody says it is. There's only very specific scenarios which you would want to use concentrated. So one scenario I see you using concentrated industry on is if you are going to do nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, but build strat bombers, and you're going to be an air controller nation. So you get the first 36 model, you somehow get this model in 39, and you continuously produce this thing until 44, or whenever you can get this bomber, okay? That's one scenario I see it being useful in. I don't see concentrated being useful in pretty much any other circumstances besides air controller, I'm going to be honest. Or if you're just producing one type of equipment, like motorized or support equipment, and you're all just lend-leasing it to someone, okay? That's the one use of concentrated industry that I could see that would actually be very useful. Otherwise, every single other time you should take dispersed industry. And you should take dispersed industry all the way down and then take flexible because it's the best. Now, we have another big elephant in the room, okay? You only get 5% more factory output for every time you take this tech, okay? But when you take dispersed, you get 10% retention, 5% base, right? And you get the conversion bonus in the first one. And it just keeps going, okay? And this is only 5, 10, 15% production of factory output while you get all of these buffs, okay? It's not really comparable. And we gave concentrated in this video the best shot possible. We started in 43 tech with it, and it just went with its 25% production bonus. But in most games, it's not going to be, it's going to be like 5, 10, 15%, maybe. But you're going to have all these buffs from this side, okay? So, in conclusion, take dispersed industry all the way down and take flexible line. That's the best I can give you, okay? Hopefully I didn't piss off too many people with the concentrated versus dispersed. There is a place for concentrated, so remember that. Dispersed is usually just better for almost every other scenario besides air controller, though. Okay, so to the outro. Okay, so if you made it this far in the video, give yourself a pat on the back. Hopefully you understand that concentrated does have a place, but dispersed is better in pretty much most scenarios. if you like this video, I ask humbly for you to like the video, comment. Hopefully don't, explode in the comment section, but comment, subscribe. It would be very nice. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, and then it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I am working on my Weimar Republic video. It's going to be our 1,000 subscriber special. And then after that, we're just going to keep making Hoi 4 videos, post-scriptum videos, squad videos, whatever I really feel like making that day. Other than that, please have a nice day. If you made it this far, you are one of the hardcore fans of this channel, and I respect you immensely. Other than that, have a nice day.